My name's Sebastian. This is Vision Now. This is the road to MSI. I watch every playoff game. Yes, even this one. Brazil. We need to have a conversation. Your region is really struggling. You got cool names, but you're really struggling. So yeah, this is Red Canids Kalunga. Or, I'm going to keep doing this, aren't I? Red Canids Kaluna versus Kabum Esports. I'm just going to go call them Kabum and Red. Just for simplicity's sake, because that's how it looks like in the games. Oh boy. This is a rough series. In the same way that, a little different, but in the same way that Loud versus Pain is just rough, this is also rough. And not because their players are bad. They have individual skills here. There's a lot of cool moments in this series that catch me off guard. Huigo is really fucking good. So is Weezer. Both of the top laners in this game are pretty much carrying everything. Alright, let's start with, I can appreciate some of the attempts in their pick and ban. Some. It is still the same old with Brazil. Always leaving up to picking a composition and then just going off to team fights every time that they go for it, regardless of the difficulty level. I can appreciate that Red, weirdly enough, is much better at reading the flow of a pick and ban. It's cool. Makes me know that at least their coaching staff, in relation to also their players, both of them combined, have a sense of what would be better to pick or what is easier to accomplish throughout. And it's just unfortunate that it's mostly the same. They'll switch between each other, but it's mostly the same. A lot of solid front to back, or a lot of 1-3-1 options or 1-4 options. And I guess it really is dependent on who's blue side and who's red side. And that's the thing that weirds me out. If you're on blue side, you always want the split push options. If you're on red side, you want the team fight options. And it literally happens from game 1. It happens game 2, game 3, and game 4. This region has a thing about only doing team fights on red side because they don't know how to play on red side, which is concerning. And that's just talking about the freaking pick ban issues. Game 1 is don't watch game. If you're gonna watch the series, just skip game 1. Skip it. It makes no difference. It really doesn't make any difference. I'll tell you what happens. 8 minutes in, there's a 4K gold lead because they keep dying. 2 we go. Who keeps getting solo kills? Solo kills. It doesn't, the whole rest of the team is able to take a bunch of advantages all around and just solo kills. It just ends that way. There is virtually no vision from either of these teams. And the vision that does exist is useless. They just place their vision and I'm like, cool. Da, 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 and then walk off to the other side of the map where they know the other team is and it's just wasted. It's to the wayside. Um, Positive, neutral setups by Kabum. Kabum, despite being eliminated, you guys don't at least try to do neutral setups when you don't have them properly set up. Good job. Problem is, your execution on turns is just bad. You get punished very frequently, and Red is just absolutely punishes you. Like, and Red, like, you need more vision, just in general. You can't just clear stuff and just be like, all right, cool. And I think it's just weird. I don't know if it has to do with the compositions or like the players themselves, because like something is up. Like it feels weird to watch. Like it's just really early in 2015 when Vision is refreshed or like rebuffed or retooled, and like no one knows how to like appropriately disperse Vision anywhere. But like we're way past that phase. Huh? Like way past it. Um, there's no way for me to evaluate how they close games because one team will straight up just die and then the game will be done. There's, again, virtually the same problem as I talked about with the Rogue versus Mad Lions, but the issue is that these are much worse teams. And quite frankly, they don't seem to understand how their win conditions work. Like, they don't seem to understand, like, how the pacing of their game is supposed to work, how, like, where their power, like, where the power spikes are, their build path, like, just a whole bunch of just arm flailing. And now I've seen 2/3 of this league, or 2/3 of the league that has qualified. And like, I don't care if this is the bottom four. This is still 2/3. This doesn't give me very big hope for Brazil, and they've just recently announced who's gonna be on the in their thing. And I'm gonna not talk about that because if they do make it forward, it's good to talk about them in relation to everybody else, not just whatever group they got placed in. But that's just a topic for a totally different video. But like, I want to see these players do better because they are talented. There's a lot of skill expression that's happened with this game, like with all of these games. These teams clearly have skilled individuals. They just play like it's solo queue, and it's really bizarre to me. Like, it's a lot of instinct, a lot of like skill reading, a lot of skill checking between each other, and it feels bizarre to go from the European playoff to the Brazilian one, because you can clearly see what happens when you go from like a seed one region to a seed 4 region, and it's rough. Like, there is so much that needs to be done for these teams to even be competitive. And like, international tournaments, you have the lower seeded teams usually just find a way to like be creative and throw people off, but like, that shouldn't be what you're dependent on. Like, you legitimately have skills with these players. I want to see way more attempted in terms of applying the proper vision, so you know how to do a step-by-step process where you're able to like do some wave manipulation, because there's zero wave manipulation. They don't do anything to make sure that there's pressure in any appropriate lane for wherever they're doing like any of the neutral setups, or if they're ever trying to like set up dives. It's like no preparation for it. There's not even like a step-by-step process to making sure that you're not just randomly engaging in the middle of somewhere where you don't have the rest of your team. The vision is inconsistent between these two teams, and there seems to be a priority on the thing that doesn't help them. Like you can't just do a vision denial and then like have no information yourself. Like, just because the other team doesn't know what to do doesn't mean that you know more because you didn't put anything. And like, so like honestly, between these two teams, I would have seen zero difference. Like zero. I give both of these teams a D plus. They're entertaining to watch, but they're no good. And I give a slight advantage to Red because they were more consistent at punishing. And this is a trend that I'm seeing now with a lot of the lower, like anything that's not a tier 1 region so far. And like, I've got one playoff series from North America, and then Australia. Then Australia just had theirs. I'm recording this on the 30th. I haven't gotten to them, but they have 2 series that they just played, and then Korea plays like in the night. Like, the better regions are starting to go off, and Australia is not a better region, but like I'm concerned that the way these teams are like being evaluated is who's the least bad instead of who's the better. Like, who makes the less amount of mistakes and who's faster at catching the mistakes. That's not a good evaluation prospect, or I guess it is an evaluation prospect, but that's not a good indicator of whether or not your region is ready to do anything. And I'm concerned. I hope the 2 top teams are better. Those being, let's just take a look here, Flamingo Esports and Vorax. Vorax being a team I have never heard of. So like, we'll see. Maybe they are good. But this is a all Brazilian team, and Flamengo Esports has a Turkish coach and a Korean top laner. And we'll see. But from what I can tell here, it doesn't look very good for the region. And I don't see much improvement happening for a while. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'm going to go off and watch some North American playoffs. Hopefully this one's better.